Excuse me for that nonsense noodling. So, hello again, junkies. It's been a while since I made the video. Uh, Lack of inspiration, I guess. And I have also been busy at work. Okay, so I have encountered a question in Facebook, and it's a good question in my opinion because it talks about active and passive electronics. So this guy asked, what is the difference between passive electronics and active electronics? And since he is a beginner, so he's asking, what should I get? A bass with active controls or a bass with passive controls? So here it goes. When you say passive, you don't have a preamp. You don't have a preamp which you can make the tone a little louder. You can adjust the bass frequencies or the other frequencies as well. So that therefore means you should adjust your sound in the amplifier preamp. Okay, you know, the ones in the head that has the bass, low mid, high mid, or maybe bass, mid, treble. Okay, so there is no alteration of the signal from the bass. Unlike the active controls like this one, I can actually adjust the frequencies. I can actually adjust the frequencies prior to before the signal goes to the amplifier. Okay, so my sound is already colored when it goes to the amplifier. Okay, so the main difference is that the passive you cannot really add. Okay, you cannot really add. However, you can add in the preamp section of the amp. Yes, and in active you can add. Okay, in passive you can just subtract. Yeah, you can just subtract. So in the passive controls, um, the usual is the three knob control that you will find, three knobs. So the first knob is usually for the neck pickup volume. The second one will be for the bridge pickup volume, and then the overall tone control or how much treble will come out from your sound. Okay, so there you can turn off the neck pickup, you can turn off the bridge pickup, okay, according to your taste. So that's how the passive electronics work usually. Okay, usually. So for the active, okay, here we have a main volume control for both, and then I have a pickup selector. So if I go backwards, it will be the neck pickup will be turned off, and this one will be turned on. If it is in the middle, both pickups are on, and then if I turn it again to my left, it will be for the neck pickup. So this one is turned off. So it will be a P bassy sounding thing. Okay. So he also asked a good question. Which one is better? Okay. That depends really on how you look at it. For me, in my opinion, I really wish I have started with a passive bass. Okay. My first bass was an active bass. Okay, I mean you cannot really turn it off. Unlike this one, you have a passive active switch. Okay, passive active switch. That bass of mine didn't have any passive or active switch, so it's active all the way. So in a way, I learned how to mix my sound using the preamp section there. However, I recommend that you go for passive first so that you can refine your technique. Okay, you can refine your technique. Why? Because of course your sound will mainly come from your technique. Okay, come from your technique. So here I'm in the passive mode. Okay, I'm in the passive mode. My amplifier is flat all the way, so meaning all of them are 12 o'clock. Okay, so that sound is a product of hard work. Okay, my sound is pretty much determined by how I pluck the strings, okay, and how I slap and pop. Okay, that's mainly technique. Okay, so that was passive. That was passive. So in the passive mode, you can refine your technique and actually find your sound. And if you find your sound in the passive, it's easy to tweak it using active electronics. Okay, it's way easier. Unlike me, I started with active controls, so I thought all bass guitars are like that. Okay, and of course the active sound sounded better in my ears at first. Okay, because I think I once thought that if there are no active controls, I will not make it. Okay, I will not make it. I mean, I cannot play without it. Okay? I cannot play without it. But in truth, you should start with, well, in my opinion only, you should start with the passive bass. Okay, passive bass, so that you can refine your technique. So because that will be the uh, bread and butter, or the meat and potatoes of your sound. Okay, it will come from your hands. Then once you get that settled, the active controls won't be a problem, because you will just add a little mid. Okay, depending on the situation. Okay, so that's just my opinion. However, it's not wrong to start with an active bass. I mean, there are many active basses in the market right now. They're not bad. Okay, but however, I recommend that you practice with the passive bass first. Okay, so this one is initially a passive bass. Passive bass. So this one is a Squier Jazz bass. So I decided to put a preamp. A preamp. So now it has active control. So why did I do that? Okay, so do I really recommend this one to all bassists? Of course, no. So if I think I mentioned it in one of my past videos that these things, the preamps, even the Sans amps, the outboard preamps, are more of rescue tools. Okay, the concept of rescue tools is more of you. It's pretty much understood in the Philippine context. Okay, it's better understood in the Philippine context because here in the Philippines, when I have a gig, of course I don't know what amplifier will the sound guys provide. Okay, so sometimes the amp is very good, sometimes the amp is very good, sometimes it's not. Okay, so if the amp is very good, I will just turn this off. Okay, so my sound will primarily be, so I will just be in the passive mode, and I will be tweaking my sound in the amplifier itself. However, if the amplifier is bad, okay, this will come to the rescue. Okay, so I will just turn the active electronics on, and then here I will tweak my sound. Okay, so maybe for the beginners who are watching this video, you cannot reconcile that at first. Okay, so even me, when I was a beginner, I did not really understand that concept. Okay, so since my tone will not come here, so you mean it's really in the hands? Yes, yes, whether you like it or not. It's a hard pill to swallow for me because I was really a fan of the active electronics, and then and I realized that I just didn't really understand what it's all about. Okay, so for me to show you that it's really your technique that will bring it out, that will be sorry, I'm stammering right now. that will determine your tone. Right now, it's my preamp is switched off, so it's in the this one is in the passive. So I'm just going directly to the amplifier. So I'm running this one through a Hartke HD15. So everything is flat in the Hartke. Okay, and my preamp right now it's turned off. However, it's also flat. Okay, flat setting. Okay, so listen to this one. That's passive. Active. So if you don't want to believe that this is active, see that? Okay, so that's active. Okay, passive. Sounds the same, right? Sounds the same. It really sounds the same. Okay. Active, passive. Did you see? Flat. If this one is flat, it sounds the same. Okay. So there's no really magical thing that is happening here. Okay. So if this one is flat, that also is flat. Okay. You sound the same. So there's no difference between when I switch it on and when I switch it off. Okay. So now I hope you're getting my point. So I've put this one because it's mainly a rescue tool when I'm too lazy to reach out to the amp and adjust my treble settings or the mid or maybe the bass. Okay. So if I'm a little far from the amp and I am really lazy in reaching those knobs, I just turn on this one, and it's here that I adjust my sound. Okay, that's it. Okay, that's it. So it's more of a rescue or a what do you call this? Handy body tool. It's like a foot switch or remote control. Okay, so I won't go to the TV and press the channel or the volume button. So I just have the remote and adjust the sound. So it's just like this one. Okay, so for example, I think that one has too much treble. Okay, so I turned it on. So if I want to reduce the treble, okay. Okay, that one is a little tighter. See? Oops, sorry. Oops, scratchy pot. I'm so sorry. Okay, I hope you heard that difference. Okay, so I can also do that in the amp. However, I have a big tummy. I will reach that out. I will reach out to the amp, and maybe I'm just too lazy to reach that. But I can do that. I will use the treble. See? Okay? But of course, I'm just too lazy to reach out to that. Okay? So that's just the main purpose of my preamp. Okay, so it's just like a remote control away from the amp. So it's just that. Excuse me. So it's not a magical gadget that really makes my sound better. Okay, so it's just really a rescue tool or a handy dandy tool. Okay, so if I think that one is a little trebly, I just turn this on. So because I'm still lazy reaching to that, then I'll add bass. that's it. So my to summarize, okay, so I think I'm already running at 15 minutes, so I'm boring you. So just to summarize, again, tone is in your hands, and these tools will just help you adjust your tone depending on the venue. Okay, this one is a 4-band EQ, so if I have a boomy room, I will reduce the bass and I will just go for the low mids. Okay, so that's it. So which one is better, active or passive? Not that I cannot really say if which one is better. That depends on you. Okay, that depends on you. If you think that you can achieve your sound easier in the active, then you may go for active. However, I recommend that you go for the passive first, so that you will know your baseline tone. Because again, whether we like it or not, the tone is in the hands. Okay? So, okay, enough of this chattering. Okay? Hope you, thank you for bearing with me, and I hope this video helps. Okay? So, here's the junkie again. Thank you. Thank you, and may you have a nice day ahead.